Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life here in the District of New Jersey.
Hey everyone, welcome back to INCRadio New Jersey Satellite Studio. Today we are talking about an activity that everyone enjoys, mostly kids, but also adults, or as we call them, the big kids. That's us. We're going to be talking about running.
And today we'll get our tips from an avid runner. Many of you know him, and if you haven't met him, he's my bro. He's my bro. Love this dude. All right. He has run a total of, count it, 1,719.85 miles just last year. And since 2022, he has run 3 marathons, 6 half marathons, 7 10Ks, and 12 5Ks. He's got more steps than we're so super excited to talk to him. So we're excited to have JP Kerygma all the way from South Plainfield to share his experiences and tips on running. So Team Live Chat, we're talking to you, Team Live Chat. Let us know your questions for JP or maybe some of your experiences with running, and hey, maybe watch us while you're on a run too. And also check out the replay. All right. So without any further ado, welcome to the show, JP. Bro, I love you so much. We all love you so much, and you got a lot of knowledge. And as a matter of fact, you've been helping other people get into running. So, Team Live Chat viewers and listeners, we're going to help you get into running. So let's get started. So, as mentioned a few moments ago, you began running in 2022. That's only like what, 2 years ago? What was your motivation?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. Running became more of a pandemic activity that started for me. It actually got kicked off because of some health concerns that I had. And I'm willing to share. For example, I was pretty much near like hypertension, pre-diabetic. My diet wasn't on point. Very busy with work, so of course there's a lot of medical alerts saying you need to do something. You need to fix this. So, I had to stop and rethink, what can I do to better myself? Of course, diet comes into play, but it has to be supplemented with more physical activity. So, I signed up for a local gym, and I thought, okay, should I hit the weights? It's too overwhelming. Elliptical, it's a weird looking machine for me at the time. But then the treadmill, one of the most basic gym equipments out there. I'm like, let me just hop on there. And I started off with just walking, did that for a few weeks, started to progress to a slight jog for maybe like a quarter mile, a little less. And then it just grew from there, quarter mile to half mile to a full mile. And then before I knew it, I gained some confidence to say to myself, why don't I just go run in my neighborhood, maybe for a mile or so? And mind you, at the time, I'm very self-conscious, about how I look in terms of running around the neighborhood. But I thought, you know what, this is for myself. So I started running for a mile around my neighborhood. And then from there, it progressed even more, right? From a mile to 2 miles, and then more than that. And I remember one time at where I work, one of my coworkers said, since you're starting to run more, why don't you sign up for the 5K that some of us are doing? Of course, at first, I'm very nervous. I'm like, I never signed up for a race before. But, they emphasize things like, oh, it's for a good cause, etc. But when I signed up and I did it, I'm like, wow, I'm actually capable of running a 5K. So that to me gave me a lot of encouragement to not only better my health, but know that I'm capable of lifting myself out of those kinds of situations when it came to health, even like mental health, and on top of that too. So it's just really took off since starting it over the pandemic.
Wow, so it sounds like running has changed your life. Leah, I think we have a question for him about that.
Yeah, well, the next question it has math, so I'm gonna avoid that for a second because we're not we do math, but we don't love it. Okay, well, here on INT Radio New Jersey. So, just want to point out, JP, you're a young guy, so this must have been I mean, a lot of us had. Wow, we were just all inside, so I'm sure. What do they call it? The COVID. What was the COVID weight? COVID weight. Is that what they called it? Everyone got some COVID weight. So, yeah, no one's excluded from that. So it's really admirable that even as a young person, you decided to take control of your health and try to reverse that COVID weight. Okay, this might. I don't know if we need to get our pens and notepads for this one. How often do you run, and for how long? Let's start off with small numbers.
Okay.
Like your morning run. I'm assuming you run every day. So in the morning, what is your typical run, and what's the length? I guess we can measure by time and also by distance.
Yeah, sure. So the amount of running that I do in a week depends on what are my goals. And I think that's something that many starting runners should bear in mind. Do I want to run a 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, or anything of the sort? So your running capabilities throughout the week should be pretty much proportionate to that mileage. Obviously, the longest one is the marathon. Shortest one, not even a 5K, could just be a mile, right? So for me, since I'm training for a marathon, typically I run out of the 7 days of the week, 5 days, just 5 days. For
Oh, so
what
not
we
every day then. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So that's one misconception that many starting runners have, that you think to become a better runner, you have to run every day. That's not necessarily true. One thing that even normal athletes, not runners, do recognize are rest days or days where you cross train, because running is just one form of physical positioning, right? You need to learn how to cross train. You also need to let your body rest. So that's very critical to progress yourself as a runner. So for me, because I'm training for a marathon, typically there are different types of runs in the week. There's those that I call easy runs, where you keep your heart rate low but you're still in movement. That I like to keep at a mileage of like 7 to max 9 miles in a session. I do that probably twice a week. Then let's say there are other ones, like I'll hit the track to help in better what's known as a VO2 max, your ability for your body to convert from your blood oxygen so that you'll be able to sustain high speeds. Usually that mileage is between 6 to, this past Monday was like 10 miles, for example. And again, that's just for me because I'm training for a marathon. And
Okay, hang on. Okay. So I know the Olympics are going on as well. So are you running as fast as you can when you're
no,
running?
no. Another misconception about running. All of these runs, you think you have to run at top speed so you could be as fast as, the greatest Olympian out there, the gold medalist. No, that's not necessarily true. In the running community, in order to improve your runs, you need to combine all your workouts with those, what I call like high speed or VO2 max workouts versus easy, like low heart rate zone runs, which one could probably perceive as like a jog. And why is that? It allows your body to be able to withstand longer distances for a long period of time without trying to compromise, your cardiovascular system. So it's a combination. It has to be complementary to each other. Just to put into perspective, some math here. There's one philosophy where it's called 80-20 method. 80% of your run should be easy, like jogs. 20% should be a bit of higher speed. That will help you progress over time to become a stronger and faster runner. And that's something that has helped me, since the pandemic, to better improve my performance each time.
Okay, so not like I'm running for the bus. That's not the pace that
That could be included in your 20% if you want.
I was gonna say that is my top speed when I have to run for the bus on my commute. So I think we have one more question before we're gonna go to the photos. What do you have for JP, Jeff?
Right now, JP, you mentioned VO2 max. You mentioned coming from a situation where you didn't like how your physical health was, and you mentioned that there are benefits to running. Now, what are the health benefits to running, and how has running affected your life and your health?
Yeah. So, of course, the number one health benefit is a better improved cardiovascular system. The ability for your blood pressure to go down. Now, I could say that's one big thing that has turned a complete 180 for me since the pandemic, where I was at my peak weight. That's one major thing. I know what was mentioned, running for the bus. Actually, when I'm running late for work, I notice, oh, I'm able to breathe better. So that's part and parcel of the cardiovascular system improvement that's there. Another thing is awareness of nutrition. That's very important. As a runner, you need to be very cautious of the things that you eat. Many think that I just have to eat bread all the time or bagels, pretzels, just high carb stuff, but it's again an orchestration act with the different macronutrients like carbohydrates plus protein. You shouldn't neglect electrolytes as well, and fats, and also fiber, right? And to me, ever since being getting into running, I've noticed that I had to pay more attention to those types of things to better improve my performance. So that's another benefit that I gain, being able to be aware of the things that I eat and the things I should be eating as well. And it's not just a matter of like avoid eating this, avoid eating that. It's knowing if I eat this, what are the nutrients I'm getting. So that's another big thing that came from this. Um, Weight loss obviously is another obvious one. Although I do want to say that many people say they want to start running just to lose weight. I had that initial mindset too. It's just one form of activity. You have to supplement that with other activities along with nutrition and concepts like caloric deficit, right, to help you lose that weight. It's just one piece to the puzzle of the weight loss that the folks are trying to get at. So definitely there's that. And another big thing, although not physical, mental clarity in my runs, that's where I get to think and opine on things that I should be, doing throughout the day. What should I be focusing on? Also being aware of my body mentally, just to make sure I'm in control. So that's a very, very critical. And I found a lot more mental clarity the moment I started running more, actually. And I see that as a common trend amongst the running community.
Okay,
Cool.
so I we do have a list here. I just wanna highlight. So when it's time for bed, do you just like knock out? Or do you have that deeper sleep? Sometimes sometimes we have problems sleeping. So just to know, because I used to, when we used to live next to like three buildings away from a gym, I was a nighttime workout person. And as soon as I got home, took a shower, I would just knock out, no problems, and I'd wake up like that. No snoozing, is just like I'm ready to go. Was that an experience? Was that a change you experienced when you started running?
So many sleeping patterns is what you're
Yeah,
asking in
and
terms of,
also the depth of your sleep, because sometimes you can sleep for 8 hours, but it's not restful.
right.
I don't know how to describe that, but you wake up, you're like, "Ah, I feel so tired." Like you don't feel refreshed.
Right. Uh, Definitely, 100%. I've never had a deeper sleep in my life ever since I started running, because you expend so much physical energy. You're asking so much from your body that your body needs to compensate and restore your energy by means of sleep. Actually, one thing that's encouraged by like my running coach is take naps every now and then. Obviously, not during the workday when it's like obviously permissible, but that helps at least restore moments of energy to get through the day. Because for me, I'm more of a morning runner and I work out more in the morning. Once you start your day out the gate, just working out, you lose kind of energy throughout the day. That's just common sense, right? So, but yeah, before I go to bed and I lay down, I'm like, okay, let me see how long it will take me to knock out. Before I know it, it's already like 5 in the morning the following day. It goes by so quickly. So that indicates it's pretty deep sleep ever since I started running.
So what time do you get up when you have a run in the morning?
So it will depend, right? One thing, especially again, this is not my full-time job. I'm not an elite runner by any means, but it depends on what I have. Do I have to go to work? Do I have my obligations, especially for me as a Christian, like my church and things of that nature. I need to plan my activities accordingly. So learning how to prioritize. So, for example, I usually go to the city Tuesday through Thursday. I usually get up at like 4:30 to prepare myself. And also, I might have to adjust that later or earlier depending on the distance of the run because I need to figure out by what time do I need to be done in order to prepare for the next thing in my day. right? So, prioritization is very critical as a runner, especially if you have a busy life going on.
So, what time do you go to bed if you're getting up at 4:30?
I need to be in bed around like the 9:30, 10 p.m. time frame. So
Wait,
that at least I could get some sort of sleep. So it's not the full 8 hours technically. We're approaching like a five and a
seven,
half to six
six and a
hour,
half, seven.
somewhere there. And then where does the rest compensate? Well, naps during the day. If I could sneak in like a half hour here or whatnot.
Okay. All right. I think we're ready for some photos.
Okay.
I know we're all excited about this. So if our tech can start the photos, these photos are amazing. Look at this. Where are you here?
So this is the London Marathon. This was last year in front of Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace was the finish line of the marathon, and that was my very first marathon, mind you. Never ran one before. Um, I was just overwhelmed with emotions. That's for sure. I was crying. I was happy. I was in pain. A mix of different things. But yeah, after they put the medal on me after I crossed the finish line, they gave us these like warming blankets. So that's like that aluminum looking thing that you see me holding over, just to make sure I don't like have crazy chills. Because as runners, and depending on the environment, if it's too cold, if it's even if it's too hot, they want to regulate your body temperature, right? So, but honestly, it was such an amazing day. I think there was about 35,000 runners, I believe, at the time
35,000 people running in one
worldwide.
direction.
Worldwide, yes,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
35,000. And the amazing thing is, no matter if you finish like in the top heat or in the bottom, it doesn't matter. They celebrate that no matter what, you still push through the finish line. That's the most important thing. And for me, definitely reflected on this in this photo.
Okay, let's see the next one. I think we have seven.
Oh
All
boy.
right. This is which way is this the same marathon?
Same marathon. This was London Marathon. I remember this was about we're in the States, so 2 miles prior to turning on the Buckingham Palace. At this point, I was really, really tired. That was like mile 23 of 26, right?
Really? Because you look
So
really fresh there. Like you're like, okay, I'm just
Yeah,
starting in the
you
London.
totally you look chill.
yeah. Well, to be honest, it could be one or two things from what I recall. One, I saw a camera. I'm like, okay, you got to look good, and then
Oh,
resume looking ugly after. Or two, well, actually, two. The second point, I think, was more important. The crowds, exhilarating. They don't know who you are. They see you pushing through. That's the motivation you need. It was enough to put a smile on my face, even though I was in pain.
Oh, okay. Let's see the next one. So we're gonna have more painful photos.
Oh boy!
Oh, you
Oh,
don't look like you're in pain here.
right
yeah.
Oh,
before
is
the
this
right
near the
before
finish line?
right before the finish line. I saw the finish line, and there was a sign above the finish line that says "You're almost there," right? And then the next sign says "You did it." And so I saw that. I just raised my hands, and I was like, "Okay, I finally did it after all this." And it was that day actually. I remember it was raining too, like a little drizzle here and there. So I thought it would put a damper on the whole marathon, but it just made it more enjoyable. Because at that point, I reflected back, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I made it through the rain."
Well, okay, before we go to the next photo, what are these fancy sleeves you're wearing? Is this for fashion or is this actual function?
It could be both, but more for function. So those are compression sleeves. Not only runners, but even athletes in other sports wear that to help circulate blood flow. Especially for me, for running for a period of like 3 to 4 hours straight, right? Or even sometimes more than that. Sometimes in this running motion, you need to facilitate blood flow, especially through the arms. So this will help bring more blood flow through your arms, as well as and probably something we could talk about, being able to use them as pockets for nutrition as well. So I
Oh,
use
yeah,
that in those
because you're
different
not wearing a
ways.
backpack or a pocketbook or
Exactly.
or a sling. Okay, next photo.
Yes.
Let's see the next one. Okay, this is a different marathon.
Yes, New York City marathon. My cousin actually took this photo. This was in, I believe, Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. So we're about mile 8 or 10, somewhere there, into the marathon. At this point, I saw my family and I saw some friends. that's the motivation I needed to keep on going because New York City was a very challenging course. There's a lot of inclines and declines compared to London. As marathoners, we always look at the course map to see what's the elevation gain, as we call it, because that will dictate if I'm able to sustain that level of energy, right, in those dips and rises. So the fact that I saw my family at the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can make it through. I'm like, all right, I got this. So I was definitely
Oh,
excited.
so just a question
You
about
got
your,
this.
yeah, you do. Just a question about the headband. Is that just for the camera placement or is that actually functional as well? Is that anything special or is that just like a terry cloth?
The light green one that I'm wearing in the
Yeah.
photo. Also, that's a cap just backwards.
Oh, with
Um,
the cap.
I
Okay.
I actually use it to to collect sweat from my brow because I'm a very heavy sweater. So it's functional as well. But of course, if you want to put in fashion, make it a bright color so people know where you are amongst the crowds. So
Wow.
and in New York City for sure, like with a crowd of London was 35,000. New York City was about 51,000 runners. So much more.
That's a
So I
lot.
definitely need to wear something that at least stood out.
That's a lot of people. All right, next photo. Um,
New York
this
City as well.
is also New York City. So, were you were wearing different trainers or sneakers for?
Yes,
So
that's right.
this is a question later, but how many pairs of sneakers do you rotate through in 6 months?
Oh, in 6 months, if I do the math real quickly, probably
Ooh,
about
more
like,
math.
yeah, probably about like 9 to 12 sneakers. About put them in constant rotation just to preserve mileage for the sneakers, and also depends on the type of run that I use the sneakers for.
Okay. Okay. So let's see the next photo while we're doing math. So how many miles per sneaker do
So
you log before you go, oh, you're done. Next.
I mean, it's always general practice. You want to be in the like 400-mile range or so. But when I say go through sneakers in like, that many sneakers in 6 months, I might use them still past that point if I know that, oh, it's only like 200 miles on these pairs. So I'll keep on going, right? But they're in the constant rotation. I always have like the top ones that I select for that time period. But 400 is usually a good gauge per sneaker, right? And also depends on the maker and things like that.
Okay. Well, let's get the photo back up with the family. If you want to see your family, I don't know what happened
Yeah,
to your
and shout out
photo.
to your
Sure.
family.
Of course.
There they are.
Yes.
It's okay. This is
Yes.
Tokyo. So you
Yes.
ran in Japan.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So I got selected to be part of this one. I think is 38,000 runners. I'm trying to remember the statistic, but this is at a point when, of course, COVID restrictions have been lifted. They're starting to bring more people into this because during the pandemic, they still had the marathon. They just had to reduce the population size and also who could be accepted. So Tokyo, again, 12-hour time difference. My body had to get adjusted to that environment. I got to say that all the crowds there were even more exhilarating than the last two marathons. That's for sure, and a totally different environment. I mean, you're in a foreign city that I've never been to before. You get crowds that, for a majority, don't speak English, but they still have the same. They give you the same energy to move you through, right? And they still cheer you on.
I was gonna say, were they cheering you on in English or Japanese? Probably
So
Japanese.
actually, one thing I try to do on the racing segments that I have, for Tokyo, I remember putting my name on it, but I put also in the top katakana how to pronounce my name. So
Oh, that's so cool.
I would hear them pronounce my name in the accent, which I thought was pretty awesome to hear.
Awesome, awesome. I think we just have one more photo after that one. Let's see it. I don't know
So
which race is this one.
this is Tokyo, in front of
This is
the Tokyo Radio Tower, I believe. So this was a happy photo because I think I've learned a lot more in marathon running from like London and New York City. By Tokyo, I gained enough experience that by I think this is mile 24, so I had 2.2 miles left, that I was able to be more of a consistent and stronger runner towards the end of the race. And I think in general, for anyone who does any of these races, even if it's short, like a 5K and whatnot, the crowds get louder the closer to the end of the race. So that helped put a smile on my face for sure.
Well, I was gonna say because if they also have to go around the trail or the marathon track, they'd also have to run 26 miles.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
makes sense. They're all the way at the end. All right. So that is it for our photos. I know we have some very exciting question. Well, for us, not maybe not for you, that we want to ask you. I'm going to start off with what tips do you have for those who want to start running? So I guess include in this mistakes beginners should look out for.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thankful for the community of runners that are around me, and for those who start running. I know one of the things that we always try to tell everyone is be realistic with your running goals. And because we get inundated with Olympians or star athletes, and we want to be as fast as them. Not just marathon, even short, like 1 mile, 400 meters, 100 meters, and whatnot, right? But be realistic with your goals because all of our physiques are different. The ability to handle such high level stress, right? So when you are realistic, think, where am I at right now? What distance do I want to run? And what is it going to take for me to get there? And realistically, by that time, what's my physical state going to be? All right. Don't try not to be so hyped up by the not necessarily the possibility in the interim. You can get there, but it will take time. Which leads me to my next tip: start slow. You know, one misconception, another misconception about running is if I have to walk in the middle of my run, I'm not a runner. Believe it or not, and back to the beginning when I mentioned this whole like 80-20 method of like intense versus low intensity running, if you walk, you're actually helping your body sustain and improve in terms of breathing, right? So combination of running and walking is actually recommended for starting runners. So that's very important. So I think that's one thing that folks should bear in mind. Another thing, learn to hydrate, learn to eat well. Because a lot of folks tend to neglect, especially for shorter distances. I don't need a bottle of water. I don't need to eat something. It's just a short, like probably 100 meters, 400 meters. Your
But
body needs energy, right?
but
So you need to learn that.
yeah, but at the same time, I just since we are closing in on our time, I just want to ask. So we shouldn't eat a bunch of junk. I shouldn't
Hmm.
be downing like a whole pizza if I'm carb loading for a marathon. That
That's for sure.
that's you need carbs, but those are not the right carbs, right? Or ice cream. Maybe after the marathon, after you're
Hmm.
done, you could treat yourself with some ice cream, but this is also a way of okay, I just wanted to clarify because I always think about the swimmer Michael Phelps when he says he has to consume like a bazillion calories a day because he's burning so much while he's swimming.
Hmm.
So it's not like that.
Not like that at all. You got to bear in mind, especially if you're going to improve as a runner, educate yourself in terms of the macronutrients that you need. You hear, oh yeah, they eat pizza and things like that. Well, again, if I eat this, what are the nutrients I'm taking in? Is it carbohydrates? Is it protein? Okay, they're there, but how about the other things that are there? High in saturated fats, things that don't serve your body well. That you need to be very self-aware of those things. So yeah, it takes a lot of self-education. Let's put it that way
Okay.
to know what to eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are actually excited for this next segment. Well, this next segment, this next portion of our interview, it's the show and tell. I
Okay.
know. I know. Jeff was like, "Let's do the show and tell now."
Yeah. See what you got.
Sure. So one thing to bear in mind as runners, I know that folks will start working out. After you're done running, you need to continue taking care of your body, not just through nutrition, but by things like physical massages to your legs. So there's a lot of things that runners can purchase, invest in to better their recovery. So a few things that are recommended as runners. There's a lot of stress that goes into our calves, right? One thing that I use a lot after runs, I just had a long run this morning, is a roller. What this does is it will push against your calf to push out any knots that are there. You can even apply this to your quadriceps, your hamstrings as well. But it's to really make sure that there's constant blood flow, and again, you don't cramp up too much. Another thing that was introduced by my physical therapist, the concept of what's called muscle scraping. So muscle scraping, same kind of concept as the rolling. You want to push against the muscle. So we use something that's like a dull blade. So this is an example of one where you push it against the muscles across your legs. You can even use this on your upper body too, for those who are lifters or power lifters, just to make sure you don't have built up knots in those areas. Um, Another favorite of mine, and I usually take this to the office. When I run in the morning and you want to get blood flow going, a massage gun. So here's an example of one. You could put this in the area where you're hurting the most to help kind of alleviate that. I actually use this sometimes before a run as well, just to get blood circulation going in that area. And speaking of blood circulation, the last important item that I have, not everyone has to have this. Again, this is just from my experience. This is a recovery boot. So let me lean back a bit. So this goes the entire length of your leg. And what it does, and for those in the medical field, you might see this with patients too, it inflates to help promote blood flow in the legs. How does that help runners? Increased blood flow helps with recovery to prevent injuries, and also helps blood flow to the muscles as well. So just a few things. I do want to emphasize, you don't have to purchase these, right? But the concept is this: give yourself the right massage after a run to make sure you're prepared for your run the next day, or not even your run, to go throughout your day's activities.
Wow, that is, and it does seem kind of intimidating because, once again, JP, you're at this level of a runner. You've done not just one marathon, but several marathons, and you have all these gadgets. You've gotten it down to a science. But you know what, maybe since this is the last question, we have to move on with our show. Maybe give someone like a pep talk, and those who are thinking of running, those are like beginning runners like me. I'm a baby runner. What give us some motivation and tell us, what your advice is on how to get started and get us going and get us stepping.
Biggest thing, find a community, of fellow runners. When I say community, they span different, skill types. Maybe they're those who you want to aspire to be as fast as, but then there's some who are, at the same starting level as you. It's important to be in that community because it will help you motivate yourself to become a better running athlete, right? And you learn tips and tricks. The things that I talked about today was from being in a community of runners, and I have a lot of great friends who who run along with me that I'll always think for so many days. But put yourself in a community, immerse yourself in a community, track each other's progress, keep each other accountable, and that will help you in times where, like, okay, this is too much, I'm going to give up. Well, that's where the pep talk comes in. Others will help boost you there, right? So that's very important. um, and I do want to put one more disclaimer out there for starting runners. Be careful with social media use when it comes to starting off running. I say that because there are many influencers out there who says you need to run high mileage every week to become a better runner, or you need to take these specific nutrition packs or gels or like whatever drinks to become a better runner. That's not necessarily true. Remember, social media influencers are getting it for clout, to gain business, right? To gain likes and to earn a profit. We're not in that business, we're normal human beings. Don't be overwhelmed by that. Being in a community will help you understand, oh, I don't need what this person is saying on Instagram. I need to start at this level. So be very self-aware. Try not to be overwhelmed by all of that. Be smart. Be a smart runner.
All right. Well, JP, it's amazing that you said that because it really does point out we don't run our race alone. We have others around us to help us, keep us motivated, and for us beginning runners out there, let's connect, let's talk to each other, and let's get going. Let's get this running. JP, you got us hyped. I saw Leia's face, and we're all ready to get. I just want to get out there right now, but I'm tied to this chair. Yeah, but thank you so much. And JP, viewers and listeners, if you want a part two of this, you want some other advice, or if you have some questions for him, let us know. We can even have a part two. We can have a follow up. So once again, thank you. I think we have to move on to our next section. So, JP, once again, thanks, and we're gonna ask for your shout outs in the next section. So,
Yeah.
Leia, what's next?
Well, our shout out section. So if our tech is ready for our bumper. Maybe he's stretching for a run. All right, then we're just gonna move on. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties himself. So, JP, again, we're so appreciative that you are on today's show. We want to start out with you. Do you want to shout out anybody or greet anyone out there in the world?
For sure. Definitely to my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters. Thank you for always being motivating for me, especially in these kinds of challenges. I would like to give a shout out to my local congregation of Central New Jersey. Always inspiration too, especially our resident minister there, Brother James. Thanks for always helping us out. And to my coach, Chris, my physical therapist, Megan, and also to my sports nutritionist, Maria. Thank you for always being the team behind me to help become a better athlete.
All right. Wow. So you really have like the community, like the whole team, including medical
I do have
professionals.
I
One
do have
more.
one more shout out.
Go, go,
Yes.
go.
I want to say them for last. I want to give a shout out to my running team here in Jersey. They're also spanning in Texas and Northern California. The Jersey Pacesetters. I'm always proud of you every day, especially for those who are beginning runners. Just know that we're here to help you, no matter what. So thanks for always being an inspiration, even for me.
All right. New Jersey Pacesetters. Okay. So, Jeff, do you have any shout outs today?
Yes, I do. So, of course, got to greet my home locale of Bergen. And also, before that, got to greet my other fellow baby runners out there. And you got to walk before you learn how to run. So, if you need some walking buddy, we got you too. Okay, of course, got to greet my walking buddy, someone here. And some birthdays. So happy birthday to my Tito Augusto Blanco over in New York. And happy birthday to Bergen's own Ruth Castro. And also happy birthday to Diane Castillo on the other side of the world. And also congrats too. And also happy birthday to Mark Bernal and Brother Ramil Rojas. I told you I'd give you a shout out, po. Shout out to you, Ramil.
Yeah, he's actually here on Team Live Chat. Brother James and Brother Ramil are both on here. I know we're a little short of time. I think we have to jump to our CFO in action after this. Hopefully our tech is ready because we are almost at the close of our show. I wanted to save my shout out for the winner of the Philadelphia anniversary trivia game that we played. And this is the prize. I don't know if you can see. It's a neck fan. I don't know. This would probably not be helpful for you, JP, because this is probably like not a strong enough fan. But the winner for the trivia game is Zam Dante, all the way from Philadelphia. All right. So, all right, Jeff, I'm going to toss it to you so that we can get everything in.
All right, now we have activity updates. So Sunday, August 18 is CNJ's Firefighters Appreciation at River Road Fire Company in Piscataway, New Jersey, and you will see JP there. So he'll probably be running from home. On Sunday, August 18, we have the Bayonne Bible Stories storytelling activity. So go for a run, appreciate the firefighters, and then enjoy a story. And then Friday, August 23, over here in Bergen, we have our medical staff appreciation at Care One in Wellington. So join me here, and we can have a baby run. Okay, and as usual, every Sunday at 9:30 p.m., the devotional prayer of all students via WebEx, and we're all learning, so we can join that call. As usual, please check with your local congregation for details on local events and the daily Bible study schedule. Now, we have our CFO in action, so Kuya Tech, let's get some action.
Oh, okay. Maybe he is having some technical issues, Jeff. So I'm going to go ahead and read some comments while we wait for him to load up that file. We want to say hello to our first commenter, Lara Fajardo, all the way from Bayonne. We also want to say hello to La Peña, who has a shout out to JP. La Peña finished a 10-mile race event this morning. So that's hashtag Philadelphia. We also want to say hello to Sister Isla, Sister Mayan, and Sister Jamaica, who are in Team Live Chat as well. We did have a question from Abe Evangelista, JP. He asked if you were a runner in college or high school. Were you a runner?
I wasn't really an avid runner at the time. Just normal workouts. It's definitely something that gained more momentum more recently than back then. But I do remember Abe because we did run together at some point in college.
Okay, all right. We also want to say hello to Jennifer Trinidad all the way in Long Beach, Orange County, California. Oh, thanks for the hashtag, Elizabeth. We need that. I would also want to say hello to your dad, Jeff. Leo Fernandez, happy Saturday, everyone. Safe driving to Wrightstown. Okay, so all of you traveling down to Wrightstown, I was going to say you can run there, but it might take you the whole day to get there. So just safe travels to everyone. And also a comment from Eve Evangelista regarding what you said about pacing yourself. What JP is saying is that you're training for endurance, not just sprint times. All right. We also want to say hello to Zam and Jeriel in live chat. Okay. I don't know. I don't think we have time. I don't know if our tech is ready for our CFO in action. Just going to give him a few seconds. If not, we'll play it next week. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if you can do the opening bumper, Jeff.
Oh, sorry, my voice isn't that deep, as deep, you know. CFO in action.
Shout out to Brother Bernard, who's our voice on the bumper. That's trivia for behind the scenes. All right, I think we need to close out the show, Jeff. So we just want to thank everyone for joining today's show, especially JP for sharing so much knowledge with us. We know there's so much more. We didn't even get to more math. I know there's so much more math and so much more to learn about the lifestyle of becoming an efficient runner. So we look forward to having you back on the show. I'm sure there will be a call for a part two. So hopefully you're ready, maybe after your next marathon, which will be in Europe. So that's exciting. So we can talk about what we should bring you back to talk about what you eat. Like, let's see exactly what you eat as a runner. So thank you to you, JP, and thank you for everyone who tuned in, even our replay viewers. We'd like to thank our church administration for their continued support to INCRadio and for allowing us to have this show where we can stay connected and learn together, especially as something as so important about taking care of our health through running. Thank you to our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo.
And before we say goodbye, we again thank all of our viewers and listeners for taking the time to watch and listen to the show. And once again, thanks, JP. We love you, bro. We hope today's topic has given us all inspiration to get out there, get running, and running with our friends and family in order to improve our moods, our health, and our community. See you again as part of our community on next episode of INC Radio, New Jersey.
Well, it looks like we're still on air. So let's talk about your favorite food since we're talking about food, JP, and then the tech can just start playing our music. What's your favorite meal? Post run.
Post run? Oh, that's when you can eat anything really.
Ooh,
No,
that's
post
my
run.
favorite.
No, post run definitely replenish on carbohydrates and protein, to help with muscle recovery and energy. So I like eating pasta with chicken, like simple, garlic oil with penne pasta and then like a chicken breast. If I'm really daring, depending on how long the run is, I'll go for ramen. I will, and some of the runners in my group know that. So that's another thing to definitely eat, and ice cream for some a bit of a sugar spike as well.
Wow, what flavor of ice cream would you say?
Oh,
What's your go-to?
okay. Culturally speaking, ube macapuno is always a good one to go to for me. I do like butter pecan, salt caramel. I mean, any of them really. I'll take any of those.
Okay. We want to say hi to Sally San Martin all the way from the Philippines. She's saying actually hi to Brother A, but hello to you, Sally, Sister Sally, thanks for tuning in. I actually wanted to ask you, you mentioned something about the sleeves. You put food in there while you're running?
Yeah, I don't put like bread in there or
The
things like
pasta.
that.
You don't put the pasta in there, right?
No,
Or
no,
Like,
no,
what can
no.
you fit in there? Can you fit,
Yeah.
spam musubi in there?
No, 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 no. It's not going to be spam musubi when it gets out of there. But so usually for endurance athletes, that's where we put like our gels, or salt tablets. We could talk about another session, things like that to just for easy accessibility, especially as you're in motion. You can grab it from the sleeve and just ingest it then and there. So
What do you mean gel? You're not talking about hair gel.
No, definitely not digesting hair gels. I'm not sure what the nutritional value is
Yeah,
there.
I just want to make
Um,
sure. That's the only gel that I know about. It's like, what kind of gel are
right.
you talking about?
So there's this concept of sports gels that exist in the endurance sport world where the macronutrients that I mentioned, carbohydrates, some protein, sugars, electrolytes especially, um, for easy digestion because you can get those by means of like fruits, bread, before a run, but it takes a while for your body to break them down. Gels are in a form that are easily digestible and can be dispersed through your body. So you have the immediate energy that you need from the carbohydrates, the water retention from electrolytes, even a caffeine boost if you need. So that's the purpose, really.
Okay, and so that comes, I feel like I need to have that during my workday so I can just like grab a gel and squeeze when I don't have time to eat like a full lunch. All right, I think INT Radio New York is waiting to come on. So we're gonna say goodbye one more time and thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on INT Radio New Jersey Satellite Studio. Take care, everybody. Bye.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.